welcome. It's good to have you here. You can see on your screen, we're going to learn all about this upcoming program here at University of California, Berkeley. The program here is entitled Leading Complex Projects, and we are joined by speakers from Berkeley Executive Education, as well as one of your course faculty here, the designer of this program, here to tell you all about it. So we have a lot in store here as we make our way through this next hour together. We're going to be starting off here by learning about two key areas involving this program. Firstly, we're going to learn all about the content. What is the curriculum? What can you expect? What are those learning objectives, and who is this program designed for? So you're going to get that deep dive knowledge into the content here. The second area we're going to touch on is how is that learning delivered? So what is the experience like being a participant here in the program? So we do have a lot in store here for you as we make our way through this session. But firstly, we want to stop and take a moment to thank you for joining and to welcome you to this global community of over 250,000 learners from across the globe coming to learn shoulder to shoulder. I'm so excited to have each and every one of you here with us as we make our way through the session. So please stay tuned. We have a lot in store. With that, I now warmly invite into the spotlight here our first keynote speaker, Mike Riley. He is the CEO of UC Berkeley Executive Education, where we're serving leaders and organizations who aspire to redefine the future of business. Mike Riley is a 20-year veteran of the sports industry. As Senior Vice President at IMG, Mike managed world-class athletes, organized major sports and entertainment events, and developed international markets for the agency. Mike joined the Haas School of Business in 2009, firstly as a highly regarded lecturer in sports marketing, and then as Assistant Dean and Executive Director of the Berkeley MBA for Executives program. Mike has now been CEO of UC Berkeley Executive Education since 2016. Thank you, Mike, for being here. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you for the next part of our agenda today.
Thank you, Marie, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody joining us today. That is UC Berkeley, the campus that you're looking at, more specifically, something we call Campanile or Sather Tower. That's our iconic symbol on campus. It really speaks to our amazing location at UC Berkeley. We are across the bay right there from San Francisco, just north of Silicon Valley and just south of the incredible California wine region. We love our location and look forward to welcoming you to campus in person one of these days. Berkeley was founded in 1868 as the original University of California campus. Today, there are 10 world-renowned universities and 5 medical centers associated with the University of California. But it all started in Berkeley. By way of example, in 1905, Berkeley bought a farm outside of Sacramento. That became our research farm. Today, that's UC Davis. In 1919, we launched something called the Southern Branch in Los Angeles. Today, that's UCLA. You get the idea. This incredible public university system in California started in Berkeley. Think of Berkeley as having 40,000 plus students, approximately 30,000 undergraduates and 10,000 graduates. The Haas School of Business was founded in 1898, thanks to the vision and the generosity of a woman named Cora Jane Flood. More specifically, she gave land and money to Berkeley with one condition: start the College of Commerce. And studying commerce was not a recognized subject in those days. Therefore, the Haas School of Business is the first public business school in the United States and the second public or private business school in the United States. Very proud of our legacy and that we were founded by a woman, Cora Jane Flood. Today, we have 6 degree programs and executive education. We have that undergraduate business degree that we launched in 1898, a master's in financial engineering program, a PhD program, and 3 types of MBA programs. The full-time, average age 27, the evening and weekend for working professionals, average age 31, and the executive MBA for working professionals as well, average age 37, plus executive education. I'll mention that all 7 of those programs are ranked #1 among public universities and top 10 among publics and privates. Some of those programs are ranked #1 in both categories. We share this for a couple of reasons. Firstly, everyone's obsessed with rankings and it's nice to be #1. Secondly, it speaks to the breadth and the depth of the business education that we provide at Haas. It's not typical for a top business school to have that many degree programs and executive education. And last but not least, we share this information to let you know that you've come to the right place for your business education. So thank you for that. Executive education at Berkeley is in existence for a couple of reasons. We are committed to having a positive impact on business and society, and taking our faculty's critical work beyond the traditional boundaries of the university. And that's what we're doing by delivering this program to you. Exec Ed offers different types of programming. Historically, our open enrollment programs were 2 to 5 days in person on campus. We have virtualized that entire portfolio. So they are now offered both on campus virtually and in a hybrid format. We are very active in the online space, including this program, Leading Complex Projects, thanks in part to our partnership with Emeritus. And last but not least, our custom programs, our largest vertical at Exec Ed is actually the customized programs that we create for our corporate, government, and university clients. We offer something called the Certificate of Business Excellence at Exec Ed. If you would like a longer, deeper relationship with Berkeley, please consider our COBE, or Certificate of Business Excellence. It typically happens over 3 years and requires 17 days minimum of our programming, with at least one course in each of our 4 academic pillars: finance, innovation, leadership, and strategy. This program will count towards that 17 days. Two of those 17 days will be taken care of if you join this program towards your COBE, your Certificate of Business Excellence. Please think about what makes the Haas School of Business unique. One of the many things that makes us unique is our embrace of the defining leadership principles. This is what our culture at Haas is really built around. Question the status quo. It doesn't get much more Berkeley than that, does it? Beyond yourself. Confidence without attitude. And students always. You are living one of these 4 defining leadership principles now by taking this course. That's students always, that insatiable quest for lifelong learning. Again, our defining leadership principles, it's what makes, one of the many things that makes Haas unique. Please think about them as you go about your professional lives. It is my pleasure to introduce Professor Omar Romero-Hernandez, the Faculty Director for Leading Complex Projects. He's working very closely with Professor Homa Barami. Omar has been with Haas since 2009. He is part of our business and social impact, our operations and IT management, and our sustainability groups. He currently teaches product management and business and the environment in our degree programs. He's always a member of Club 6, which is how we celebrate our best, most successful faculty members for having the most impact in the classroom on their students. It is best that I turn things over to Omar with my thanks, Omar, for being faculty director and partnering with Homa on this excellent program. Please explain a little more about yourself and Homa and the program. Over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mike, and so happy, so thrilled to be on this journey with all of you and your team. I want to welcome everyone. Thank you for spending some time with us. In context, when I think about my profile and the reasons that we ended up just coming and designing this wonderful program that we hope you will consider, I need to tell you that many of these things were based on the background and previous experience and the academic context where we are. Initially, just for disclosure, I did not study business. I've been working at the business school for a while, but as a matter of fact, I am a chemical engineer. I did chemical engineering, then I moved into operations research, like applied math, And eventually I landed a PhD on economics and environment. So I'm like an economist who likes technology, chemistry, the environment, all of them, not all of them, I still don't know. Then from the job perspective, this is not the first job I got, but I truly hope this is the last job because I love it. The first job I got was on the private sector at Procter & Gamble with product development. You may imagine these kind of projects where we are kind of uncertain about the time and specifications of what we're going to end up discovering after some time. I spent some time working on that area, just mostly research. And then I switched and started a career in a refinery. Many of us chemical engineers would love to work at a refinery. And that was the case also with myself. The projects I was involved were very different to the previous projects. And to some extent, those projects are more focused on energy efficiency, cost efficiency, and make sure that you keep on the process operating and running 100% of the time. After that, I run into some consultants, and they are the ones who invited me to join the practice. That was the first time that I was closely involved with the business. I joined Accenture, and in each one, every time I was getting a job, I was moving to a different country. I started at Venezuela, then I moved for the refinery at Mexico, and then for the consulting job, I moved down to Argentina because a large petrochemical company was getting privatized, and that meant a lot of work for consultants. From then I moved to the office at London, and eventually I stopped working there because I wanted just to pursue my degree, my PhD. After a while, when I finished the PhD degree, I started working at the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment. Why am I telling you all this? Because first I did some years of working experience at the private sector. Then I moved into the public sector where things tend to run a little bit slower. And after some time there, I started a career in the academy. I worked first in a private university in Mexico, and it's been 14 years ago that I was invited to join UC Berkeley, and that's where I am. Currently, I'm leading the practice of advanced project management, and many of the things that you see that we discussed with the programs that Mike was sharing at the executive level are also some of the cases that we tend to discuss on this program. Now, we have the wonderful benefit of working together with another member of the faculty that we admire a lot, and that person is Homa Barami. Homa, whose CV is on the next slide, you can tell that she will bring a very good breadth of the organizational portion of a company. Why? Because for projects to succeed, we got to make sure that we get all the planning, the technicalities ready and so on. But at the end of the day, it's mostly about people. It's about your skills, your leadership, the way you work with teams, the level of independence that you provide to the teams and so on. And there's no one better to teach that Professor Homa Barami. She has specialized a lot in the area of managing behavior and psychology. She has a couple of books, and she spends a lot of time just working closely with different organizations. She kindly worked on the preparation for this material. So both of us will be leading this journey with you. As a context, if we ask like, okay, Omar, at the top level, what would be the course overview? What are we supposed to get out of these 8 modules that we're gonna take with you? In the course overview, what I would say is that without having the pleasure to meet you in person yet, I would like to think that there is something that we all have in common right now. Most of us are right now working in projects. And our professional career depends on many factors, of course, many factors, being one of them, your ability to plan and execute successful projects. Turns out that if everything goes as planned, well, we almost don't need any project manager, any project leader, right? The problem is that very often things do not go as planned. There are a lot of unknowns, a lot of uncertainties, a lot of complexities, a lot of things that keep on changing all of the time. Most of us, I feel, have been using our common sense, our understanding of the situation, and we keep on just making decisions because that's what we get paid for, to make a call, make a decision. Now, with that in context, what we wanted to offer you through this program of leading complex projects is not only a good understanding of traditional project management, but we are mixing that, we are blending this with a good flavor of complexity. There you will find all types of complexities in projects. We already spent some time separating, sorting them out, and providing some recommendations on how to deal with them. And something that we value a lot about this class is that it is not the traditional class where you might think that it's all about theory. For instance, if we think about the takeaways, something actionable that you can bring with you at the end of the session, some of these takeaways, you will quickly find out that they are based on tools, frameworks, and strategies that you can take with you. Let me show you some of them on the next slide. In these takeaways, what you can see is that we put at the top that you got to bring some tools with you, some frameworks, some strategies, because every day you're dealing with traditional and complex projects. You want to make sure that what you're doing is something that you can measure, that you can monitor, that will give you a good sense on whether you're moving in the right direction and at the right pace. We work with that. We want to take you one level up and talk about strategic project planning, because it's not only about making sure that your project adds value to the organization. Many times what you might be facing is that you and your colleagues may have more project ideas, more initiatives in the back of your head than resources or time available. And you got to make a call. And once you make a call and select a few projects, you get to realize that sometimes you have to make decisions under uncertainty, under limited information. Sometimes you need to start a project in order to get a chance to learn more about the project. So you got to take on those shots. And at the end, there are some specific tools and framework that can help you manage the risk associated to all projects. Next to that, you can think about this takeaway for this project as a personal journey, because we want to work with you to help you develop a better understanding, even better understanding of the type of leadership that you have, the aspects that you would like to work on, the aspects that you would like to polish, how could you make that happen, and the big role that you may have when your job is to build cohesive teams that will help you improve project performance and decision making. When we're dealing with complex projects, a lot of that is about adaptability and your level of comfort at letting other people making some calls in the areas that they've been working on. So that will be the takeaways. And then the next natural answer probably is like, who is this program for? How could I make sure that this is a program that I need to sign up? So when we ask the question of who is this program for, the answers are on the next slide. And some of the things that we can check is that this applies to a broad set of participants, going from C-suite executives and senior managers, because they need to understand the strategic implications of projects, the teams, and the type of investments that you got to make. This is a good, the program is also a good option for current project managers and program managers who are dealing with more projects, mid to senior level managers, because if you see what they all have in common is that they are working in projects right now. Entrepreneurs and consultants are also at the top of this. We tend to have many of them. Becoming an entrepreneur means also dealing with a lot of uncertainty, taking a lot of risk, trying to move fast, make things happen. That requires a given set of methodologies. And on the other side, those of us who are consultants also, we know that we breed projects. We work in projects all of the time. Some of these projects 1 through 3 months, some of them 6, 12 months. Many of these projects might be very different from the other. The type of clients that we might find might be very different one from the other, and so on. There are some tools that we can implement. And in general, I would say that this is also a good fit for many other professionals. We have had here people that go from experts on sports management, from other faculty members who try to see what's on the store that they can just replicate, to leaders of some specific groups that initially think that they might not be project leaders, and eventually they realize that many of the things they were doing were actually leading projects, maybe with a different name. So this is a good idea. And I would like to add also that one thing that all of these members, all of these groups may have in common is that probably they have been working in projects before, and they might be making the right type of decisions, but many of these decisions were just, let's say, based on experience and their common sense. Now they want to build another layer and understand if there is any framework that they can also incorporate to come up with a better decision. And that's the idea behind this journey. If I got a chance to show you the course overview on the next slide, you will see that the way we have structured this project, this course, is almost as if it were a project on its own. If you look on modules 1 and 2, we're going to be dealing more about a high-level introduction. We're going to be opening the program just by talking about the difference between traditional and complex projects, understanding the type of complexities that you may have, and then we're going to try to put them in the context of strategic planning and complex mapping. There are some tools that will help you map out different types of complexities, and some of them can be articulated very fast. You can have a good sense of the level of complexity of your project within just a few minutes or less than an hour as a first instance. And that will give you, that will put you in a good position to prepare against what you might be encountering in the future. Then if we look into modules 3 to 7, we see there that we have decomposed the complexities into 3 types. In modules 3 and 4, we talk about structural complexities. We're going to be understanding what happens when the size of the project increases, when the pace of the project also increases, when you have issues with the resources that you might use and how to allocate. For emerging complexities in modules 5 and 6, we get to understand how to better monitor what we are doing and how to deal with risk and uncertainties. In module number 7, we will talk about sociopolitical complexities. And it's all about navigating power, the politics, the people around that, and make them adopt the project and understand what you're doing. In module 8, that module will be more about you. And again, we're trying to wrap up this with a better understanding of ourselves. I have a chance to tell you a little bit more about each one of the modules on the next slide. Let's go from here. As you see here on module number 1 on the next slide, here we're going to have an early introduction of all about the program, understanding exactly, Omar, when you talk about complexity, what exactly makes a project complex? Is that chaotic? Is that just complexity? Are there any other type of set theories that we can start incorporating so that it becomes more natural for us to talk about project complexity at the same time as talking about project management? Yes, there are many things that we can use along the way. And in module number 1, basically what we are doing is setting the stage, giving a justification, and helping you identify at least a couple of projects in your real practice where you would like just to go and revise them, this time probably through new lenses. Once we have this opening, this big introduction, we're going to start with module number 2. Module number 2 is all about strategic project management and complexity mapping. We're going to introduce also what's the way that strategic planners go about whenever they have to envision different type of scenarios that may be happening in the future, whenever they have to understand how these scenarios may be affecting the success of an organization. We're going to put that in context of a project selection model. You're going to have a lot of different projects to play with. We're going to give you a lot of different complexities, a lot of different issues that are happening outside. And we're going to give you a chance to start a negotiation with some peers so that eventually you have a real experience about what would it take to start making a first early selection of projects. And then we're going to place that in context of the 3 types of complexity that we're going to be playing with along the program. We will place that in context of the structural, the sociopolitical, and the emergent complexity. And that will put you in good shape for module number 3. Because the next thing in module number 3, we assume that you have selected a project, 1 or 2. And once you have these 2 projects in mind, 1 or 2, let's go over the next steps that you need to follow in order to make sure that you define the project, define the scope, understand exactly how to start the planning process of that project along the way with the conditions you're going to set in order to prepare against the complexities that you might be facing. This is all about finding the right type of teams, find the right type of resources, monetary, human, and so on, and just find a good way just to start budgeting for the effort required. Once you define your project, then in module number 4, we're going to start talking more about structural complexities. We're going to expand and learn quickly how to move from a project definition into a series of deliverables. We're going to be creating maps and structures that will define the project. These structures of deliverables will be set in context with networks and activities. Also, we will spend some time together learning about at least one project management software that you may like. The project software that we use is named Smartsheet. We're going to have some exercise also with that, just because most of the projects that you're going to be dealing with are larger, and it's better just to have a tool that will help us deal with them. From there, then we're going to start talking about module number 5, emergent complexities, planning, monitoring, and controlling projects. And here the idea is that we have a review about different processes that you can follow during your planning phase. You can go cascade, traditional, you can go agile, you can use Scrum, lean development, extreme project management, and there is not such a thing as one model that fits all projects. As a matter of fact, there are many projects that may have more than one planning methodology inside. We're going to have a review about them, and we're going to have some small exercises understanding this matrix between the nature of the project, the nature of the activities, and the best type of methodology that you can implement. And many of that will be based on the amount of information you have about the project and your level of preparation or previous experience. From there, then in module number 6, we're going to go deep into risk management. And we're going to go beyond the traditional risk management methodologies, where we learn how to identify, assess, and create a response plan. We're going to be creating our heat maps of having different options for risks. We're going to be talking also about quantitative risk management. Some of you here probably have heard before about Monte Carlo simulation. You're going to learn how to do your own simulations, so that ideally, instead of just saying that a project may take 50 weeks, now you can go and say, there are 80% chances that the project might take 50 weeks or less. So in your language, you will learn how to incorporate a risk language on every phase that you're doing. And that's okay, because nobody knows perfectly everything that will happen in a project. From there, then in module number 7, we're going to elevate that and talk about sociopolitical complexities. This module is super important, and Homa was here also very involved, because the main thing is that you can learn about all the tools and all the frameworks that we have mentioned so far, but you know that at the end of the day, many of what we can do and achieve will depend on the socio-political complexities around that. The way that we go and talk to other teams, the way that we go and deal with all the different stakeholders, depending on the level of influence, the level of power that they may have, the type of team that you might create, especially if many of the activities will be followed through a remote way. We're going to be talking on module number 7 about the role of virtual teams. We will provide you with some of the best practices. We will ask you to think about how you're going to deal with that, how you can set the rules, how you can create some momentum, even if you might not be working on the same location, and you may have to work with 4, 10, 12 hours of differences every day with different locations in the company that you have. We're going to be dealing with that. And then in module number 8, that module number 8 will be mostly about you. There is a framework that has been proposed here internally at Haas by Homa about leading project. And we're going to look at about different types of intelligence: adaptive, social, entrepreneurial intelligence. It's not that one is better than the other, but they will help us understand the type of profile, the way that we go and look at projects and how we behave. And that will put us in a better position just to become even better leaders and to have even stronger teams. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that most of what we do at the end of the day needs to be something with a good payback, something that is actionable, something that has some specific tools, specific frameworks that you can bring with you. And to prove that, or to help you prove that, We have also selected a series of case studies and included a series of companies example. Just as a first view of a few of the case studies that we might be covering, on the next slide, you can see that we go and talk about companies like Autodesk, CarMax, a medical company, and another company also in the pharmaceutical industry. What these companies have in common is that they have gone through some projects that have different levels of complexities, from a project that included the challenge of optimizing through different type of metrics, and having a risk management option plan there. CarMax on how did they eventually become the big, massive beast that they are nowadays. That was a big project growing fast based on digital transformation. PMF devices on the medical industry, how we see that you can have agile organizations just making things faster, testing early, getting the feedback, and just trying to launch another product as fast as possible. And then also another type of project where they have to come up with a new type of product, testing it, prototyping, manufacturing, moving large scale, and so on. Each one of these cases embrace different types of complexities, and we would like to go and discuss this with you. Along the way, there are several other companies examples that you will see. In all modules, there are companies examples, and some of them might be about brands that you may know already, such as Microsoft, Spotify, or a large extension of the airport at Heathrow, London. And you see how they build the best practices for creating status reports, some practices for encouraging innovation and change, some practices for making more agile the decision-making process. And the same happens with other companies such as BMW, NVIDIA, and Southwest. Some of these practices are about selecting projects, different levels of strategies, or just trying to make an organization even more productive. All of these things that we have, what we have on the description of the model and the company's example, well, they get together with a series of assignments that we have for you. And there is something interesting that you would like to see on the next slide. On this next slide on assignments, what you will see is that we have different deliverables for each one of the 8 modules. But guess what? Every single assignment that you work in every one of the modules is part of a capstone project that you have to deliver. So you can think of this as a sort of a puzzle. You bring in one piece each time. At the beginning, module 8, we ask you to think about a few projects and select at least one. Module 2 and 3 are about selecting and defining the projects. Module 4 and 5 are about just making a first project plan and understanding what's the best methodology that you like to follow. Module 7 about all the risks and complexities of the project. Module 8 about the team, the dynamics, and your leadership. And that's something that you can deliver. And I promise you that this is a very practical, very actionable capstone. Just recently, and this was just a coincidence, but 2 days ago, I got a communication from a wonderful, very bright student from Australia. He was connected, and he just let us know that he was awarded the grant for this big project that he has. He's on the sports industry, and they're just trying to develop a high national initiative for some high-performing athletes. He got the funds, he got the program, and funny to say, most of what he was presenting on the bidding for the project was his capstone project. And that made us very proud, because at the end, most of what you see in this program will make sense if we make sure that you develop the ability to implement it, to make it actionable. You don't want to just sit down for the sake of listening to a couple of concepts and understanding them. You need to go 10 miles beyond that. And how do we help you to prove that? By coming up with something actionable. And there is a learning experience behind that. I'll let Mary just jump into that.
Thank you so much, Professor Romero-Hernandez, for being here with us and for taking us through this content. It's been an absolute honor learning more from you about this program. Thank you for designing it. And certainly, you know, this is one of the things that you can expect here in the course, a really high level of engagement with your course faculty, your course program leaders, learning facilitators, your peers. So as we kind of shift, we've been talking about assignments and some of these other sort of use case examples that really help to illuminate various components as you see these things taking place in real time and in real world scenarios. So as we shift over into the learning experience, you're going to see a lot more of these kind of practical use application. That's really how the learning experience is designed to help you to take these frameworks, these methodologies, and really tinker with them, interact with this content in real time around a schedule that works for you and at your own pace. So that's kind of the gist of what you can expect. What that looks like in real time, you can think of the learning experience in 2 words. Word number 1 is convenient. Word number 2 is interactive. So the convenience component is huge. We wanted to make this course accessible and available all across the globe for full-time working professionals to really take their learning into their organization, into their professional lives in real time as they learn. So in many ways, we've been able to extend beyond the reach of what's possible in a traditional classroom, break down some of those barriers of space and time, and open up this course for you to sort of conveniently step through from week to week in cadence with your peers and your colleagues and teaching team. So at the beginning of each week, and we start with week 0, that's a whole 7 days for you to get oriented. You'll build a professional profile in the platform. You'll get to know the platform, the course schedule, and you'll begin to reach out and get to know your teaching team and peers during that orientation week. So it's a really exciting time to come in and get to know all about the program and learn who your peers and colleagues will be. After week 0, the subsequent weeks here, from week 1 to 8, we start each week by releasing a set of content. And you can see that package right here on your screen. This is what that content contains. We start with these on-demand video lectures. These are brief 5 to 7 minute clips with your course faculty describing these core methodologies. You can watch these on-demand videos around a schedule that works for you as many times as you need to and at your own pace. From there, you'll step away from that learning and you'll engage in this interactive material that you see here on your screen, aimed at helping you to really roll up your sleeves and apply your knowledge. So you'll be doing that through reflection exercises, polls, crowdsourcing activities. There are quizzes, assignments, triad activities, peer reviews and discussion threads to really incorporate that peer knowledge. You're going to see these concepts come to life in your industry, in your professional role, in your geography, but that peer-to-peer learning is going to broaden your scope of understanding and give you that breadth as you see these same themes and concepts coming to life in other industries, on other projects, in other geographies. So you're going to get that deep dive understanding and you're going to get that broadened scope of understanding as well through those peer engagements. There's that capstone case study projects. These, again, really aimed at helping you to have those tangible takeaways, that capstone, that tangible takeaway from the program, and those case study analysis, giving you an opportunity to really examine these themes from multiple perspectives in real, based on a true story scenarios, and lift from there your learnings and apply that across. Certainly a lot in store as you think of your learning and the ways in which you're able to step through this content asynchronously around a schedule that works for you. So you're going to be watching those videos and taking part in these activities within that week, but around that individual schedule that works best for your time zone and for your family and professional responsibilities. Then we have live components, right? So these are a chance for you to step into a room at the same time as your program leaders and your faculty and engage in real-time learning. And that comes through the form of live faculty webinars, very much like this one here, where you can learn directly from your course faculty and engage in that individualized learning and that reciprocal learning environment. Again, just as we heard from Professor Romero-Hernandez, you're bringing in your knowledge, your insights, your experience, your challenges, your projects, and you're getting that real-time help through these variety of activities, including those live sessions. You also have live office hours, a chance for you to get your questions answered, discuss themes with your peers, and get help with your assignments. We have, in addition to your course faculty, we have learning facilitators. We're going to introduce those to you in just a moment, but really helping to support those office hours and give you feedback on your assignments. So again, a lot of interaction, a lot of convenience. Interactive and convenient describes that learning experience. And so we hope we've kind of outlined that for you. But if you do have any questions about the look and feel of this program, again, just be reminded that we are joined here by program support. They are the course experts on all of these elements here, and they can help dive into more detail. For example, if you want to know what is the schedule of the program, I want to get those dates on my calendar for those live sessions, they can get those calendar holds out to you so you can visualize your schedule. But you have that support starting now with watching today's session and certainly all throughout the course as well. So here's a sneak peek. We always like to kind of pull back the curtain a little bit. And, as you can see here, this is Professor Romero-Hernandez, one of those brief video segments that we described in the program. Again, you can watch these as many times as you like around a schedule that works for you. And really, in a traditional classroom, you have a certain number of seats in the room, a certain set of curriculum, and a certain number of minutes. Here in this online space, we've broken down those barriers in space and time, opening up this course to anyone who wants to join from all regions of the globe, and doing so that allows you to learn at your own pace, to grasp onto concepts, and then to step away, roll up your sleeves, and really tinker with those ideas and interact with that before then moving on to the next set of concepts. So it's a truly remarkable program, a very well-designed program, and one that is well supported as well. So in addition to your course faculty, you also have your learning facilitators. And these are industry experts that have been selected by Berkeley Haas to come into this program and serve as your day-to-day teaching guides. They help to answer all of your questions. They are giving you that individualized feedback on your assignments. They're on the discussion boards with you and your peers, helping to push your thinking and drive engagement throughout your time. And of course, those office hours are a chance for you to reach out and get individualized support if you discover a niche area of interest and you'd like more resources, or if you'd like some help with exploring the job market or career preparation. These are all things that you can bring into office hours and get that industry expert advice from your learning facilitators. So they're giving you that feedback. They're helping with that overall learning experience. That support is going to be a critical support to your learning in addition to your course faculty and this broader community here at Berkeley Haas. So in summary, the learning experience here, it's one that's going to keep you engaged, and it's one that you're going to be able to accommodate with your other professional and family responsibilities. Our pedagogical approach is called bite-sized learning, but really what it is deep skills building. It's allowing you to practice as you learn and practice as you go over the course of your lifelong learning journey. And so all of the programs here at Berkeley Haas are designed to do that. This one as well. In terms of that time commitment, the schedule is yours to design, but you're looking to find the window of 4 to 6 hours from week to week. So as you look ahead of your schedule, it could be in the mornings, before work, in the afternoons when the children are sleeping, evenings and weekends, really identifying those windows that best work for you. And from there, we have that 2 months of content. So a lot in store in terms of assignments, quizzes, interactive learning, and a lot of communication and a lot of relationship building. So you're going to walk away from this program with all of your learning. You're going to walk away from this program with a broadened professional network, more friends, more colleagues from all regions of the globe who you can continue to build relationships with. And then finally, you have a chance to earn a credential here from Berkeley Haas. We learned from Mike Riley towards the beginning, some of those certifications and credentials that are available. So a lot of key takeaways here in the program. We hope you'll join us. You can see here, there's a link on your screen. And the link on your screen here will take you over to the course website. The course website, if you'd like to, I don't think you can click on this link, but if you open that chat box up, you'll see there's a link in the chat that you can click on, and it'll take you right over to that website. And once you're there, you'll have a chance to do 3 things. Firstly, you can download the full course brochure. That's everything we've described here and more. It's a beautifully designed, comprehensive overview of this program. So go ahead over to that website, download that brochure, and get to know this course as you seek to get prepared to begin. The second thing you can do from the website, one click away, you can schedule an appointment with a program advisor. So I mentioned our advisors are here with us, but as you're getting those application materials together, questions might arise related to the course schedule, logistics, how do I complete the course, what's the evaluative criteria, And you might also have questions related to registration and enrollment. And how do I apply? What are those deadlines? Are there any flexible and transparent payment options, special group enrollment, pricing, all of that? They can walk you through those details as well. So to schedule an appointment with an advisor, again, on the website, it's one click away. You'll be able to select a time that works in your time zone for a 30-minute advising conversation. You can dive into these elements of the course. You can also talk more broadly about your own lifelong learning journey, what might be next for you, and what some of the programs are here at Berkeley Haas that you might be interested in combining with this one. So there's a lot in store as you think about that advising conversation, that one-on-one mentor and support person that you can go to. So we hope you'll do that. Again, that high level of relationships and interaction that you can expect in the program. We want to make sure that begins right here today with watching this session, getting connected with an advisor, and ensuring that you have that support and places to go with your questions when you have them. Professor Romero-Hernandez, thank you again for joining and for being here with us. I'd love to invite you back in to speak to some of the elements of the program that are related to, the industry that our audience might be representing. So we have an audience from many different industries, many different geographies. Were you thinking of designing sort of an industry agnostic program when you put this together, one that can really apply across multiple different kinds of sectors and industries?
Absolutely. And we learned that by experience, because before we have been working at different countries, different locations, different sectors, from the energy sector, sustainability, policy, research and development, technology, and so on. And the one thing that many of these sectors have in common is that they are surrounded by complexities. And that's what really started motivating this kind of program that we developed, leading complex projects. How do you go and instead of getting afraid, instead of shying away from complexities, we just try to embrace them, understand that they might become a differentiator for what we are doing. And as you all can see from the module sequence that we have been proposing, the idea was that anyone from any sector can follow through and apply these type of tools into your everyday practice. And I think that that's a key differentiator. We wanted to make sure that whatever we were proposing was something that all sectors could be implementing. And I also like the fact that we have also included the factor that now, if you look at yourself, if we look into what we are doing right now, many of the things that we are doing are happening virtually. That was not a common practice a few years ago. Now it's just so common, dealing with virtual teams at different locations, different time zones, and so on. And guess what? There are some few good practices that we can just establish and blend in and incorporate them within the complexities frameworks that we have. So I feel that to some extent, the main goal behind this program is to make sure to help everyone to do an even better job into the projects that they are leading every day.
Thank you, Professor Romero-Hernandez. And I'll, add to that as well. What we know is that the half-life of skills today is about 5 years. And for technical skills, it's about 2 years, which means the skills that it takes to be successful in the workplace and relevant in the workplace today will be obsolete and irrelevant in 5 years. So programs like this one, as you think about digital transformation, as you think about all of the things that are changing around us post-pandemic and the like, including, the larger sociopolitical context of today, as you think about all of these themes, joining a program that allows you to stay current, to stay in this reciprocal learning environment. No two cohorts are alike. You're coming together around current topics, current themes, and you're staying ahead of these changes. So as you think about skills building, courses like this are allowing you to do that in real time in relevant ways. So as you're thinking about applying these frameworks, these methodologies, you're looking at the current landscape. You're looking at what's ahead, and you're doing that with your peers, with this broader global community and expert teachers and faculty. So really helping to think about your learning in more of a lifelong or career span way in order to stay relevant, stay ahead, in order to truly leave a mark and make a transformational change within your professions and within your organizations. That's what courses like this one are designed to help you to do. So thank you again for kind of showcasing here, Professor Romero-Hernandez, all the ways that you've been thinking about these components as well when you put this course together. We'd love to hear any final words of wisdom, words of advice that you have for us here today. We're going to close out the session here shortly, but we'd love to learn more from you. Any final words that you'd like to leave us with, particularly for folks who are considering joining this program just around the corner?
Yes, and thank you for the opportunity. I think that in a way, when we go ahead and present a program and we go and do it in less than an hour, I feel that some of us may start having more questions along the way or so on. So for that purpose, besides the perfect contact that we have to all our friends at Emeritus, if you have another question about the content or you will have a reflection or anything, feel free to ask us a question at any point in time. Because if there is something that we want to make sure, that's that we give you all the information, all that you needed to know before you make this decision. This decision is important, and we want to make sure that everything is laid out on our side. We understand that you may have more questions in the future or so on. If we can be helpful, please contact us at any time, and we would love to hear from you and to help you build any context that you need to build in order to make a decision. I promise you that this is a module, this is a program that you will find very, very valuable and very applicable, because that was our purpose by design.
Thank you again, Professor Romero-Hernandez, for being here, telling us all about the program and staying through the end of our session. To all of you who've joined in from across the globe, thank you as well for being here. Go ahead and pick up that the apply page. So it'll take you right on over to the course website where you can download a brochure, connect with an advisor, and get started with that application. Thank you all for joining here today. We hope to see you back in the program beginning just around the corner. But for now, we sign off with a heartfelt good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day to all of you from around the globe. Thanks again for joining, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.